From FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio, this is The Odds Couple on GrindCityMedia.com. Handicapping all the football action, here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hello, good people. Welcome to The Odds Couple. Week 17 of the football season. Yes, week 17 of the football season. It is bowl week. We get closer to the NFL playoffs as that season is winding down, and it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone who is watching here today or listening here today. We got bowl games coming up. We're going to talk about it all. Lang Whitaker, how are you, sir? Great to see you, man. I'm excited. It's bowl season, and it came quickly.
It felt like it came quickly, but it also felt like we were never going to get here.
Right?
Like it just was like the last 3 months we've been on a treadmill going the wrong direction, but we finally somehow got to bowl season.
Absolutely.
And the end of the NFL.
That's right. Yeah. We'll get into all that. John Roser is here as well. Hello, Roser.
Hello, Fish. Hello, Lang.
What's up?
How are you guys doing?
Doing very well. We're doing very well.
Yes, bowl season is upon us, but the only given so far is that with what's going on in sports right now is just bet against the Memphis Tiger basketball team. It's going great for us.
Tigers and football this year.
There's one other sure thing. You just bet against the Auburn football coaching committee.
Yes.
Trying to find a head coach for that team.
And I think we have found the ATM for this late push in the NFL season too. I think we have found the ATM.
The broken
ATM.
Yes.
They might be located. They might be.
There's a couple.
They have right now. They will have the number one pick in the NFL draft that could get them one quarterback from Clemson University. And I think we have located the Jacksonville Jaguars as the team to bet against as this NFL season winds down.
Yeah, thanks to the Jets and their great performance last week. Yeah. CJ Hurd is here. Hello, CJ. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you guys doing?
Doing very well, man.
I like to hear it.
Yeah, we got bowls. We got stuff. We had a lot of stuff happen over the weekend. And we had some great conference championship games. We had some really bad conference championship games. But what did we learn from this last week?
I wrote a column this week for Grind City Media that I think the college football playoff committee, whatever you call it, I think they got it right. And I know that's an unpopular opinion, and there's the fish scales weigh differently, and I understand that like there's other things at play here. I told Rose earlier, I saw a stat today, this is the 7th year of the college football playoff, so 4 teams, 7 years, 28 slots have been available. 20 of those have gone to Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Oklahoma over the last 7 years.
And although you say that, and for how much I want to argue it, I don't think it's ever been wrong. Since they've started, I don't think they've gotten the wrong 4 teams one time. I think there's been an argument maybe once. I really don't think there's an argument this year, unfortunately.
I don't either.
We just have to come to the realization of it is what it is. Teams like Cincinnati just aren't going to get the opportunity. It's just not going to happen.
And we could, it would be fun for Cincinnati to make it in there.
It'd be great
or
to have them in a playoff.
But they're going to get killed.
And if you want the 8 8-team playoff deal, okay,
that's another discussion.
That's a whole nother discussion. But I don't even know if I'm in favor of that. To me, I think the ideal deal would be what the fish scales, the best ranking system in America, by the way. Because it's the fairest ranking system in America. It's based on what you've achieved throughout the season. But what the fish scales does, it ranks all the teams, but then it ranks the top 4 Power 5 schools. Yeah. And then there's a championship for the others. And to me, a Coastal Carolina, who would it be now this year? I'm trying to think. It was Coastal and it was Buffalo last week, but they lost. Cincinnati, yeah. It'd be Cincinnati and Coastal playing in a championship game. So those programs could at least have a shot at a championship.
If we want to talk about other ways of doing it.
But that's a whole show to do.
Here's the thing. The way I look at it with the college football playoff is this. If the 2 people who are the most vocal opponents of your system are Jimbo Fisher and Dan Mullen, then maybe you're doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Well, Dan Mullen's in trouble too. What did I learn?
They just got
Well, Devontae Smith might have won the Heisman Saturday night. If you look at betting odds, he did win the Heisman Saturday night. He has gone in the last 3 weeks from 50-1, 22-1 to now he is the favorite at minus 200 to win the Heisman. And so the Heisman is going to be won by him or Mac Jones. If you look at Mac Jones is like plus 170 right now. Najee Harris is also in there, and then Trevor Lawrence also. One of those Alabama guys is going to win the Heisman. But I think Trevor Lawrence is the best player.
What
in
are the chances
football.
that those guys split the vote? I don't really know the answer to this. It seems like it could happen.
Well, and I saw Chris Felica from College Game Day this morning. He was swinging his sword for Trevor Lawrence winning the Heisman Trophy. Like that team, it's like they lost to Notre Dame.
Sure, yeah.
And then he came back, and you look at the difference he made. Now, also getting 3 starters back on defense helped them too. But I think we saw it'll probably be one of those Alabama guys. But Trevor Lawrence is the best player in college football.
Yeah.
CJ, what'd you learn this week, man?
Desmond Ridder should probably get an invite to New York. I don't know if we're doing it live or not, but Desmond Ridder, the way he's been able to play, he deserves to be one of the finalists, semifinalists for Heisman Trophy. The kid just makes football plays and has carried that Cincinnati offense all year long. And they went out there against one of the best defenses in the American and not only held their own, but won that football game. I look forward to seeing what he's able to do against the SEC defense in Georgia in their bowl.
Well, I'm glad he wasn't making baseball plays on the football field.
Yes.
No, he's making football plays on the football field.
Football plays on the football field.
But don't you think, Cincinnati didn't make the championship game, but Cincinnati, Georgia's a really good game.
I think this is if Georgia.
I really want to watch this game.
As long as Georgia doesn't have the opt-outs, I mean, I think this is the worst possible matchup for Cincinnati because Cincinnati, what they have been able to do is they are this really, really physical team. And they've been able to slow down these high-powered offenses like Memphis, like SMU. We've seen them do that this year. Do you think you are not going to out-physical Georgia?
The excuses are already there. Cincinnati wins, it's, the opt-outs, and how much did Georgia really care? Cincinnati loses it, see? That's why. Why.
I don't think Georgia's going to have that many opt-outs because it's a lot of guys who are coming back next year on that team.
Yeah.
But this is a team that's a lot of younger players. But I also think Georgia's just going to run it down their throat. That's what they did all season to set up the pass. Now they have a guy who can actually pass the ball, but they have good running backs, a huge offensive line, much bigger than what Cincinnati's been used to playing against this year.
So saying Georgia -7.
I feel pretty good about
Georgia -7. I kind of like it too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Well, we are there. We got the 4 teams set now for the college football playoff. Number 1 is Alabama. Nick Saban talking about how to plan for the next 2 weeks.
Well, I think this is a lot like having a bye week. I would say that we're going to try to manage it a lot like we would a bye week. So that's not a routine that's abnormal for the players to understand. And at least we can give the players 3 days during Christmas to be able to do that. I have a hard time. We let our players go home when we had a bye week. We tried to educate their families and those that had not tested positive on the safety issues and the things that they needed to do to, stay safe and healthy so we wouldn't have an issue on our team. I don't have the heart to tell the players that they can't go home for Christmas. So we're going to try to do the same thing in that regard. And so we'll give them 3 days off for Christmas, practice a day or two before they go, and then have kind of a normal week when we come back. So that's the plan, and that's the way we'll try to implement it.
I think we know where the Grinch is.
Well, the Grinch is in South Bend, Indiana. Brian Kelly, it was amazing to me, just moments later, said, well, our kids can't go home for Christmas. I mean, we got to practice and everything, and it's terrible. We'll try to make a holiday experience here on campus.
I did like that Saban.
Can't go home.
I did like Saban basically was saying in that soundbite. He was basically saying, so we have a week off, and we're going to treat it like a bye week. So we're going to treat our bye week like a bye week. This is. I will say after the SEC championship game, I don't know if you heard Saban on the field talking, and we're also used to him, never saying anything.
Right.
He actually kind of got emotional, and he was like, "This is one of my favorite teams I've ever coached because of everything we've had to go through this year."
It's the second time I've heard that from Saban, and the last time, I can't remember what team it was, that they won a national championship. It was around 4 years ago, I'll say that. And he was very emotional about his team. He kept saying, this is maybe my favorite team that I've ever had. And I thought, he's retiring. Oh, my gosh, this is going to be stunning. He's going to retire. But I don't get that feeling now.
No, I don't think so either. I think it was genuine. Like, this has been a tough year for everybody on the earth. And I think for them to get to this point and make it through and survive and all this stuff, I think it was genuine.
And I don't know if it'll happen, but if you saw Devontae Smith's Snapchat post, I believe it was Snapchat from like a week or so ago.
No, I did not see it.
I don't know if he will, but there's a chance Jalen Waddle comes back in this playoff. Like, he was moving around. Devontae Smith is yelling. He's like, that boy's ready. That boy's ready. Like, I'm not saying he'll be back for Notre Dame, but if they beat Notre Dame, would it shock you with Jalen Waddle if he can play, if he played in that national championship game?
Yes.
It would not surprise me. These are Nick Saban players. Yeah.
I'm with you, Roser. I like this.
And they're not going to need him for Notre Dame. They are going to beat the piss out of Notre Dame. like, that should be the bye week, too. It should be 2 bye weeks. It's like, why are we even playing this game?
You have to play against God on Christmas week.
That's true.
This is like the ultimate test of Saban.
That's right.
Satan.
Dabo Sweeney and his Clemson Tigers, they are number 2. And Dabo Sweeney talking about the odd schedule of needing to play in 2 weeks.
Very different. I mean, it's we just talked about that this morning. It's basically like an open date. It's almost identical to what we just had with Notre Dame. In fact, I think we got a couple less days than we had in preparation for Notre Dame. So, we play in 12 days. We got 11 days to get ready, but we got a couple of days, that you got to give them off in there. So just got to maximize our time. And literally, it's not a bowl mentality. Normally we would be off a week after the ACC championship game and then have probably 3 or so weeks to get ready. So it's just treat it like an open date and get ready, maximize your time, and we're excited about it. At the end of the day, you're in the playoffs, and our goal was to win the ACC championship, and if we did that, we knew we'd have an opportunity to be in the playoffs. So just proud of this team, and we got one goal left, and that's win the closer.
I think it's interesting in the discussion of Dabo through the years has been we're the underdog, nobody believes in us, how many games do we have to win sort of guy. Well, he doesn't have any of that this year.
Well, he's given Ohio State the talking points, especially with his vote for the poll that came out when he had Ohio State, 11th?
He had him ranked lower than any other coach in the coaches poll. It's bold. There's a reason Clemson is favored by 7.5. They should win the game, but you're doing a little too much chirping, man. It's not like you're playing a horrible team. Right? They are loaded with 4- and 5-star players. Yeah. I mean,
Ohio State didn't have a great game last week.
No, they didn't.
They did not play well. And Northwestern played really well.
Northwestern looked pretty good.
No, Northwestern.
But do we really know how good Ohio State is?
No, but you're giving them material to be good. And if it's just a one-game situation and they've got a couple of weeks to prepare for it, Ryan Day is a great play caller, and he probably had his worst play calling game I've ever seen on Saturday. He kept trying to get in that first half. He just kept trying to have Justin Fields throw the ball everywhere. When the times they did run the ball in the first half with Trey Sermon was getting like 8 yards a carry. Second half, they just decide, okay, we're just give the ball to Trey Sermon. And Northwestern could do nothing with it. Like, if he would have done that the entire game, that wouldn't have been close. They still could have covered at the end, too.
Yeah, they should have.
Still could have covered at the end.
If they went for 2 and missed it, that would have covered it. We don't know how good Ohio State can be, but we know how good Justin Fields can be. We've seen him at his best. We know he could carry them to a win against Clemson.
Now, they've got to get Olave back. Now, it was talked about, it was COVID issues this past weekend. Now I've heard, I've read, there's a little bit of an injury. I don't know what kind of injury it is, but there were times I saw in that Northwestern game, they really missed having Chris Olave there because he kind of is, Garrett Wilson's kind of the All-American, the shorter route player. Olave is the guy who really stretches everything out, at the wide receiver position for them, and they're going to need him against Clemson. But if you're telling me all that chirping Dabo Sweeney's doing, Ohio State should have beaten them last year, and they screwed that game up, and they got screwed by the refs too. But I mean, you're not playing You're not playing Cincinnati. You're not playing Coastal Carolina. You're playing another team that's got loaded with 4- and 5-star recruits. You know they got talent.
Yeah, Ryan Day's the head coach at Ohio State, and he's probably done with the chirping as well. And a lot of people have been talking about them not playing enough games and things like that. Well, here's Day's response.
All I'm going to say is this. People can say whatever they want. They have their opinions. I'm not going to talk about other teams because I think we have enough to talk about positively about our program. But I'll say this. If we have an opportunity to play anybody in the country in one game, I'm going to take the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the attitude you should have. I mean, you say, no, well, I mean.
Well, they're right.
I mean, I take well, and if we got the opportunity to play one game against anybody in the country, I'm going to take Alabama.
If they have the chance to play one game against Cincinnati or Texas A&M, I'll take Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I think they deserve.
Yeah.
So I think they deserve to be in the top.
No, I think they're absolutely one of the 4 best teams in the country. Will they beat Clemson? Who knows? But I think Dabo Sweeney.
Well, Clemson's one of the top 4 teams in the country too.
And Dabo has made this game way more interesting now, even more interesting than it could be. You've got the rematch from last year where Olave ran the wrong route on the final play, and so Fields threw the pick in the end zone. You got Ohio State should have beaten them last year. They got robbed by refs. You've got Dabo chirping this year now, and this game's setting up. This is going to be fun. Clemson is not going to beat them down. That is not going to happen.
If I remember correctly from last year, we talked about it some, Rosa, before the show. Ohio State is in the red zone 3 or 4 times.
Yes, they kick too many field goals.
They get 13 points, 16 points off of that, and keep Clemson in the game. If they score touchdowns there, that's 21-24 to nothing.
Do you feel like
Clemson is done?
Do you think the refs had like an impact on the game last year?
Yes, 100%. 100%. Ask Jeffrey Okudah and T. Higgins. They'll tell you it did.
Brian Kelly is the head coach of the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame after their beat down against Clemson the other day when they were beat down in that ball game. Many wondered if Notre Dame would be the team that would fall out of the top 4. Brian Kelly said they deserve to be there.
And, we've played 11 games. I mean, that matters. Playing 11 games, testing your team week in and week out. I think that, in my mind, puts us as, without question, as one of the top 4 teams in the country.
He couldn't even make his own point. He ran out of steam halfway through the thing. He's like, we played 11 games.
Who, if you had to list your top 3, who deserved to be there that didn't get there, in order?
Texas A&M could be in the discussion. To me, like, they had a tougher road. The only teams that Notre Dame beat other than Clemson was UNC.
If we were doing it like bracketology, the first 3 out, Texas A&M would be one,
I would say,
right?
Texas A&M, and then maybe Cincinnati, and
yeah, I think those are the 2.
I mean,
3
Florida,
you could debate a lot of teams, but I think
that Florida lost LSU is just brutal.
You lose 3 games. I'm sorry, I'm not putting you in.
Right.
You lose 3 games.
There are only 2 teams that have an argument.
Yeah, I think so.
It's Cincinnati and A&M.
Yeah, yes. I think so. And I don't even know how good the argument is. I would think the one team that's in that has the worst argument to be in is Notre Dame. But they beat Clemson, and yes, Trevor Lawrence didn't play, but they did beat Clemson at one point in the season. They beat the number 1 team in the country.
Now, I will say, Georgia with JT Daniels, Georgia's been one of the 5 best teams in the country.
Yes, but Georgia lost.
Yeah,
they lost a lot of games.
Yeah.
So I'm a Georgia fan, and I do think we're one of the, like, with JT Daniels and with the full defense, they're one of the best 4 teams in the country.
Daniels is back next year, right?
Yes.
Oh, you better believe when the odds for national championship come out next year, with what Alabama's losing, we know they will reload. And Georgia, I will have Georgia to win the national
Most
championship.
Of that defense is back.
Yes.
They're going to be all the running backs are back.
Yes.
The receivers are back. Like, it's a really young team, and if Daniels. There has been talk that Daniels could go pro because he's been around for a few years, but I think he's back. And if he's back, like,
he could be great.
And so it's like if they've got all those guys back next year, if Kirby can't get it done next year, then
what they're not going to fire him.
No, they're not going to fire him, but it just may not happen then.
Right. Speaking of Kirby, he'll be back, and Jimbo will be back now with A&M. And if any team was they thought deserving of a spot in the 4, it was Texas A&M. Here's Jimbo on the snub.
This team, like I said, I haven't lobbied, I haven't said a word, but I'm going to know that you're 8-1 in the SEC. We lost to the number 1 team in the country. I don't see somebody else go 8-1 in this league. and do it and stand up and do it. We can play with anybody. We do deserve in it. You're going to hear me say it now. I said I'd wait till our place. Let's our talk up. But we deserve to be in it now. That's up to the committee. That's their thing. But I believe that firmly. I've watched the games. I've seen everybody. We can play with anybody. 7 straight SEC wins. Some schools ain't even playing 7 games. Some schools ain't even played 7. Win 7 in a row in the SEC and win 8 overall. I don't care what league you're in. I don't care, what everybody else says. If you want to pick the best 14, we're one of them. I mean, you're talking about, like right now, we're a month out there longer. The injuries, the bangs, the bruises, the practice, all that stuff matters. The political end of this thing, trying to get guys out there and they want to push their own schools to get up in there, is ridiculous. Put the best teams in it.
I think the problem with the college football playoff and how it's set up, I think they've always said it's the 4 best teams. And again, like I said earlier, I think they've gotten it right every single year. But shouldn't playoffs be for the most deserving teams?
All this is setting up with how it's been this year. It's going to go to 8 teams.
And I would prefer you have a non-Power 5 championship before going to 8, because I don't want to see the non-Power 5s get beaten on most occasions and say, see, they don't deserve to be in. I mean, I think because they don't. The money's different. Everything's different. It's a different playing field. It just is.
First of all, Jimbo sounded like he was auctioning something off in that clip. Did you notice in the clip? He said, sold. 7 straight wins in the SEC.
Yeah.
Tell them who they were.
Florida.
Yeah, that's huge. Big one.
Mississippi State.
Good.
Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, real good. They did well this year.
South Carolina. LSU.
Oh, well, defending national champions.
Auburn, Tennessee.
Auburn, good team, over 500.
Yeah, it's not when you look at it like that.
I mean, technically, they won 7 straight games in the SEC. Also, their first game of the year, Vanderbilt.
They looked horrible in that one.
Yes, technically they won 7 straight games in the SEC.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say for them, why I don't really care, and I'm not really worried about it that they're not there, and this is just me personally. They are boring as hell to watch.
They are.
Texas A&M is so boring to watch play. It is painful in the eyes.
Well, they're not there. We are going to take a break here on The Odds Couple. When we come back, Lance Taylor joins us from Birmingham, get his thoughts on the college football playoff, also get his thoughts on some of the bowl games. We'll talk some Tigers as the Tigers get set for their bowl game in Montgomery. We'll talk about that when we return here on The Odds Couple on Grind City Media.
And we welcome to the show Kyle Anderson, who I believe you are the elder statesman now? Are you the oldest dude in the gym?
Somebody called me one of the rookies called me the OG in the locker room.
The Chris Vernon Show, live daily on grindcitymedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, and the official Grizzlies mobile app. Subscribe and download daily episodes at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SoundCloud.
The Grizzlies debuted their City Edition uniforms, and they are the coolest City Edition uniforms.
Look at this beautiful black and gold.
Show me the glasses.
It's all the way right on the seam.
That's dope. But that's how you know the detailing of it. That's pretty dope.
Oh, my nails are so gross.
No.
Rise and Grind with Jessica and Megan. Live daily at 8 a.m. on grindcitymedia.com.
What's up, Grizzlies fans? I'm Megan Triplett, and I have some exciting news to share. We have a new app. That's right. It's a 3-in-1 experience that you don't want to miss out on. Check this out. The app will keep you up to date on all of the Grizzlies stats and latest news. If you're looking to see what events are going on at FedEx Forum, that can all be found on the app as well. Plus, if you want to see more of me and the rest of the Grind City Media team, like Chris Vernon, Lang Whitaker, and Mike Wallace, there's a section for all that. It is 365 days of content to keep you in touch with all things Grizzlies, FedEx Forum, and GCM. And did I mention you can also purchase and manage tickets on the app? The app does it all. Download it now.
Welcome back to GrindCityMedia.com, live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Now, here's is more of the Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, don't miss the newest Grind City Media show, Rise and Grind, with Jessica Benson and Megan Triplett. They bring a fresh, fun, and energetic double shot of morning vibes to catch you up on the latest in sports, entertainment, pop culture, and everything Memphis, with some completely biased, unfiltered discussions and a side of slightly above-average jokes. Tune in to grindcitymedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch the show live, or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. Welcome back, everyone, to the Odds Couple. It is bowl week, and it is also a big week in the NFL. We'll talk a little NFL coming up, and we'll talk about the Tigers and their bowl game coming up this week as well. We'll do that here shortly, but one of the teams in the Tigers conference, the Cincinnati Bearcats, left out of the playoff. I don't think anybody was really surprised about it, but head coach Luke Fickell, he loved his team.
I hope they understand that this is a very good football team that plays in all three phases of the game. You find a way to win, and I don't know how they're going to be denied. I mean, our quarterback and the way he played, and we didn't play great probably early defensively, but we found a way to change things up and be successful. So proud of these guys.
Yeah, and he should be proud of them. They should be proud of what they did, but this is just reality. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
I know how they're going to be denied. They're going to play
by
an
the
SEC.
Georgia Bulldogs.
They're going to play an SEC team.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
we talked about it all year. Like Cincinnati they had a good defense.
They're
good. They're good. They're a good team. But
they are a really good team.
But they're not a great team.
No, I mean
they're a great team for the conference that they're in and the people that they are peers with.
Sure, but for the college football universe,
that's why college football is stupid, because teams aren't on the same level. They're just not.
I will say, out of watching college football this year in these conferences, I'd probably rank Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's probably the second or third best team in the Big Ten this year. I think they'd be the second or third best team in the Big Ten. I think they'd probably be the fourth best team in the SEC this year.
Pac-12?
The Pac-12, they'd probably be the best team in the Pac-12. My God, that conference sucks. The Big 12, they'd be behind Oklahoma and
Iowa State.
Probably Iowa State. And then after that, dude, they could beat Oklahoma State. They can beat Baylor. They can beat TCU. They could beat those
Iowa
teams.
State. Maybe.
Yeah, they could beat Iowa State. Louisiana beat Iowa State. Cincinnati could beat Iowa State.
Great time to bring on Lance Taylor, host of the Roundtable on WJOX in Birmingham. You can get him on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor and get his picks daily at lanceslock.com. Hello, Lance.
Hello, fellas. Yeah, I don't disagree with Roser. You know, a couple of months ago, I said Cincinnati was probably the fourth best team in the SEC, and I'm a little bitter right now because I had Cincinnati minus 13.5 against Colts on Saturday.
Yep.
But if, you know, a couple of red zone possessions, they come up empty. If they win that game by 28 to 35 points like I thought they would win it by, there's a good chance they get in. I know when you look at the final college football rankings, there's a big gap between them and 4. But I think there was such a dilemma to try to find who that 4 was, and there was no good options, that if Cincinnati would have been really impressive closing out with a conference championship and going undefeated, problem was they struggled with Tulsa, and the committee was watching. Yeah. And that Cincinnati team we saw on Saturday, you just couldn't put in the 14 playoff.
Don't you think Texas A&M was better than Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but on any given day, if you get bad Kellen Mond, I mean, he's just consistently average. And you'll get a really good game from Mond every now and then. But if Kellen Mond was like he was against LSU, I think Cincinnati wins the game. But, you know, I just don't think there's a fourth best option. I understand A&M lost one game in the SEC in that brutal 10-game conference, but their best win was against a 3-loss Florida team. Yeah. And their best loss was a 4-touchdown loss to Alabama. And I knew, you know, before the selection show on Sunday, there was no chance A&M was getting in because they weren't going to rematch A&M against a team that had already beaten them by 4 touchdowns.
Right. Okay, 2 questions. One, do you agree with me that there is literally no reason we should even be playing Alabama and Notre Dame? This is just going to be a blowout. The Vegas line says it's going to be a blowout. I think it's a waste of our time. The other one is, do you think Dabo Sweeney's talking too much?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've never been a Dabo Sweeney guy. I respect what he's been able to do and build a monster elite program in Clemson. But I do appreciate the fact that he doesn't walk this back, because if I'm in Dabo's spot, I probably walk this back a little bit. Hey, the reason I've got them at 11 is because they played this abbreviated schedule. It wasn't their fault. Ohio State's really talented. When you look, you know, even their 2 and 3 deeps, I mean, you see the 5 stars and the speed and a team that, is consistently in the college football playoff, but their conference didn't do them a solid and put them in a bad spot where, in my opinion, they shouldn't have gotten in because they didn't play enough games. He didn't say that. Didn't walk it back at all. And continues to poke the cage, which to me makes this game a lot more interesting because, if Trey Sermon continues to play like he's playing and Olave's back and, you get everybody healthy, we saw the game last year. Yeah. And that late pick that fields through, and I know there's a lot of attrition off that Ohio State team, but the same for Clemson. I just think if everything goes right for Ohio State, they can win this game. And I lean early liking Ohio State at least plus the points. I mean, we've got to get one competitive game out of these two. And you're right, Alabama and Notre Dame don't even play it.
As far as a bowl game this week that we're interested in here, the Memphis Tigers and Florida Atlantic. Memphis has been brutal against the number this season, and
Tell me about it.
does that continue this week?
Well, probably, Rob. It's an inflated number. I'm sitting right at 9 right now. I know Memphis fans are really excited to go to the Montgomery Bowl if you need to get in. I don't know why anybody would make that trip, but you're right. I mean, Memphis 7-3 straight up, but only 3-7 against the number. But Florida Atlantic hasn't been good either. They're 3-5 against the number. The Owls are 4-0 all time in bowl games. And how's the health of Calvin Austin? Is the leg injury going to be okay? Is he going to be close to 100%? It's a big number. And you just don't know where motivation's going to be in these games. Again, you're in Montgomery and just don't know how excited these kids are. I probably lean dog in this situation. All of the money is being flooded right now on Memphis. And I don't get it close to double digits. And again, 3-7 against the number.
Speaking of Memphis, we'll switch to the hardwood a little bit. Do you think Vegas after Monday night, do you think Vegas will finally adjust and they have finally realized just how bad this Memphis basketball team is, especially on the offensive end? Because they can guard anybody, but their offense is, it's atrocious.
Well, and it's just weird because, when Penny started to get out and recruit, people thought that this was going to be, the Memphis of old. And it's like it really hasn't been the same since, Wiseman never played. And I don't know what's going on with them, but I had a couple of people hit me up yesterday, and they were like, man, this Memphis team, this is a really good play on Monday night. I think it was -9.5. They ended up losing the game. It's tough to watch Memphis basketball right now.
Yeah,
it's easy to bet it.
Yeah, everybody, because everybody I know in Memphis that was watching that game last night, we all were on Tulsa. All of us were on Tulsa in that game.
Well, yeah, you need to start. Well, I guess you're right. They're probably going to adjust accordingly, and I don't think just that Memphis brand is not going to inflate those numbers. But you guys remember? I don't know if it ever got to the point where Memphis was out drawing the Grizz, but FedEx used to pack out those Memphis games.
Oh yeah,
And I guess you can pick up tickets on the ground now.
Well, nobody can get in the building now. They don't allow anybody in. That was the only good thing about last night. Like I go with my mom. My mom has season tickets, so I go with her. And I was so thankful that they said no fans could attend these games going forward.
While Lance is with us right now, I just wanted to bring this up. And like many others before me, I would like to announce that I will not be taking the Auburn coaching job. But Lance, you have any idea who is going to take that job?
Yeah, and I've said it from the start. It's going to be Kevin Steele. And what's happening is you've got the money guys behind the scenes that basically push Malzahn out. And I really don't blame them. It was a stale situation, and Malzahn was good for 4 losses a year.
Yeah.
But if you're going to buy out a $22 million contract and you're going to retain the defensive coordinator, which is what's going on. Behind the scenes, they're basically telling any candidate that is doing a prelim on the interview, you're going to retain a couple of guys off this defensive staff, one of which is the defensive coordinator, Kevin Steele. And there's just not a lot of coaches that want to be told what to do and what staff members to retain, especially when it comes to their defensive coordinator. So they're running a lot of people off, and they know that in the end it's going to ultimately be Kevin Steele. And I will be borderline shocked if Kevin Steele is not the next head coach at Auburn. And you guys tell me a guy that was 1-31 or 1-32 in 3 years in the Big 12 is Baylor's head coach. You pay a guy $22 million to leave to hire a 62-year-old guy that couldn't get it done at Baylor. Not even couldn't get it done, and I know Baylor back then was different, but when you're 1-32, this is going to be, to me, one of the most baffling, weird, strange, bad hires that we've ever seen.
It is great that they have like plausible deniability now. They can be like, well, look, we talked to Hugh Freeze, we talked to Brent Venables, we talked to all these guys. For some reason they didn't want the job.
They got, on Monday, from what I hear, they got shot down by a Sun Belt coach in Billy Napier and a Conference USA coach in Bill Clark. Yeah. I mean, that's got to be one of the darkest days of Auburn football history. I mean,
even Tennessee thinks that's rough.
Yeah.
Derek Dooley is rolling in his grave.
Yeah. I can't believe that Brent Venables, who's a defensive coordinator at Clemson, I can't believe he wouldn't go for, hey, we're going to tell you who your defensive coordinator is going to be. Because I'm pretty sure Brent Venables is going to want to call those plays himself. Yeah. So how about this? So this is where this. How about Kevin Steele takes that job and he hires Art Briles to run his offense?
Well, I think if you're going to hire Art Briles on the opposite, you might as well just hire Art Briles. I mean, I'd be seriously, you know, it's funny. We had Clay Travis on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, man, I'm telling you, Art Briles is misunderstood. And I was like, well, I got to hear the audio because, you know, from what I hear, it sounded really bad over the last couple of years. I mean, the guy's basically banned, was in Italy for a while, and I guess he's back in high school. The high school ranks now.
He just resigned. He just quit from the high school, and he won he almost won a couple state championships again.
Yeah, I don't even believe those are his pictures, though. The pictures I saw look like Matt McConaughey trying to play Art Briles. But you know, if you're going to even touch Art Briles, just let him be your head coach because the guy obviously knows. I don't want to say he knows how to run a program. That's probably overstepping a little bit. He knows how to win football games. He knows how to win football.
I mean, if you're going down that road, you just get Hugh Freeze, don't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, I don't see why the Hugh Freeze thing is so toxic. Now, look, they hired Bruce Pearl. Bruce Pearl was in a similar situation with the NCAA. I mean, look, Bruce Pearl, you know, didn't have the escort situation, obviously, but I think a lot of people can forgive when it comes to wins and losses, especially what Bruce Pearl's been able to do now, even with that NCAA cloud when he came into Auburn. Yeah. I mean, to get that program to a Final Four was truly remarkable. And, you know, I think Hugh Freeze is one of those coaches. He's, you know, had success against Nick Saban. He had Ole Miss a play away from going to an SEC championship game for the only time in their program history. You know, and it just hasn't been the same since he's been gone.
Lance,
Tennessee's not going to fire Jeremy Pruitt, it appears. Yeah. So we get another. Tennessee fans get another year of that.
Yeah, so and I thought that was. I really believed, you know, that Phil Fulmer, it would be hard for him this early in to fire his guy. But when I heard this internal investigation, it seemed like a Phil Fulmer setup.
How about a bowl game and an NFL pick for us?
Yes. Let's go to the Alamo Bowl where Colorado, Carl Rell, your Pac-12 Coach of the Year, more than likely, takes on Texas. Texas minus 10.5, big number here. Sam Ehlinger's final game, and Texas, for whatever reason, under Herman, they seem to play in these meaningless bowls really well. It's a big number, but I am laying it. I think Texas minus 10.5. That game is coming up like next Tuesday, I think, the 29th.
Yep.
I like Texas.
What do you think of the NFL this week as we get close to the end of the season? Does it get tougher now because you don't know who's playing who?
Yeah, I mean, like my Rams, you know, I couldn't get over the loss on Sunday night. I mean, I really thought I was in for what was going to be a stress-free Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, all these NFL games come down to one possession, and the Rams fighting for that possibly, at least going into Week 15, were possibly still, you know, up for the 1 seed. In a game that just was going to be impossible to lose, and they lose that game. So in the NFL, and then we saw it with Pittsburgh on Monday night against Cincinnati in a game they couldn't lose as 14.5-point favorites. But speaking of Pittsburgh, they're in a tailspin after the 11-0 start. They've lost 3 consecutive games. Now, you know, at Heinz, they host Indianapolis. They're catching 1.5 at home. I know things look really bad, especially for this Pittsburgh offense, but you know, I think backs against the wall. I think they come out. I think they play well, and I like Pittsburgh plus 1.5.
All right, and you can get picks from you every single day at lanceslock.com.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, go to lanceslock.com. We'll give you a free play. As we sit here and talk today, we've won 8 of the last 9 days. We've won 7 of our 8 last locks. We're 58% in the NFL, 65-47 on the season. We're 44-17 in college hoops, 72%. We're hitting as we talk today. So it's only $90 for the entire month. You get everything with the NBA starting up now, college hoops, the NFL, all the bowls, jump on board, lanceslock.com, only $90.
Awesome. Lance, always a pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, happy holidays.
You too,
Thanks,
buddy.
guys.
Lance Taylor joining us.
You know that scene in The Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, where the Grinch gets up on top of the mountain and he loads up the sleigh with all the presents and the little dog, and then the thing crashes down the mountain? That was his Jeremy Pruitt hot take.
Look, Ed, I mean,
a hot take?
It's not even a hot take. I mean, like,
I thought my hot take last year when I said Jeremy Pruitt looks like a thumb was a hot take. But
yeah, I mean, he does kind of look like he does look like a thumb. Mate, I do not.
Do you have plans on ever going to Knoxville, Rosa?
No, I have no interest in going to Knoxville. And look, no, it's just a goof. It's not like I think it's not like I'm being serious or anything. But no, he strikes me as not like he would not do well in the Wonderlic.
He did say he's never had asparagus. Wasn't
Yeah,
that what it was?
like that's yeah.
When he was on TV.
Oh no, he eats a ribeye every night with a baked potato.
Well, and now they're not going bowling. Maybe the best thing for him.
He doesn't even bake the potato. He just grabs it out of the dirt and eats it. You see that happening? Did you see Jimmy Stewart doing that?
Steak and raw potatoes?
He just gets the potato out of the dirt, doesn't even clean it off, just bites into it, yes.
Does he cook the steak? Steak's well done. You know he eats well done steak.
Oh, probably, yeah. I mean, basically we're saying the guy's a meathead.
The SEC does have bowl games this week. Yes, Missouri Tigers are in a bowl game as they will be taking on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Eli Drinkwitz talking about the Tigers going to the Music City Bowl.
Excited about an opportunity. Anytime you get to extend the season, our seniors have earned an opportunity for us to continue to play a great opponent. Iowa, 6-2, 16 on the season in an NFL stadium in a great city like Nashville. Get to stay at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel, which my daughters are very excited about. They've already told me we've got indoor ice skating, we got snow tubing. So what an awesome deal. Another positive for us in this is our guys are going to get a chance to go be home with their families for the holidays, come back, play a game, and they're going to get to be home with them again for New Year's. So this game fit perfectly in the window and opportunity that we wanted for us as a team. In order to maximize the opportunity to play, but also give our guys an opportunity to be at home and see their families.
Missouri had some good momentum, and then the last 2 weeks happened.
We don't need to talk about the Missouri game. We need to talk. Guys, I was saying, they got ice skating in there, and
they do.
Snow tubing, snow tubing. I thought you had to go up to Minnesota to do this.
No, the Opryland.
Yeah, yes. You can do it at the Opryland.
They got snow tubing.
He sounds jacked for that.
To your point, like I thought Missouri had turned the corner like halfway through the season.
Did too.
Yeah, I thought like it's catching on. Like he's getting his guys in there. Everybody's buying in. This is going to be a team to reckon with the next couple of years. And then they kind of just went right back to where they were before.
Dude, Iowa's not beating anybody by that much money or by that many points. Though.
No, I don't think
so. Dude, I've watched.
That feels
Iowa.
like a good under game. I don't even know what the number
is. Both teams trends everything under. Mizzou's just been really bad against the number. They haven't covered their last 7 in December.
I just don't trust. I don't trust Iowa to beat anybody by more than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they've only played each other one time. Iowa won, and they did cover the spread. Some other SEC games. You got the Cotton Bowl, Florida and Oklahoma. Florida, 3-point favorite over the Sooners. That one opened as Oklahoma, a 2-point favorite. Now it's Florida, a 3-point favorite.
I'll just take the over. That feels like an over
which
game.
Is 72.
Yeah, but Florida was. I mean, look, they're not a good team, but they can score points, and they did it against LSU. They did it against Alabama. I think they're going to do it against Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, that's all they do is give up points.
The trends certainly say take the over in that one. Definitely. South Carolina taking on UAB in the Gasparilla Bowl.
Maybe not happening.
Maybe not happening.
Yeah, I just recently saw that there's.
Oh yeah,
the South Carolina players are not so keen playing for Mike Bobo. It turns out.
Yeah, they've got COVID issues. They're not playing.
Okay.
They're not playing. Yeah,
well,
they're going to try to find a different team.
Okay. Well.
We didn't need to talk about that game anyway.
Army playing in the Liberty Bowl. We got that coming up, so that'll be cool. Congratulations. They certainly deserve to be in a bowl game, and glad that they're willing to do it. And playing in the Liberty Bowl is a great fit for Army, and they'll be taking on West Virginia. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We got our picks coming up for this week here on The Odds Couple. We're back right after this on Grind City Media.
Do you know how to make a reindeer sound?
What is that?
What kind of sounds do reindeers make?
It's not like a horse.
No.
It's like more like a deer.
The only thing I can think of like is deer if they're getting like attacked by a lion or something. Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
You know, I watch all these animal videos.
So what would a reindeer getting attacked by a lion sound like?
It'd be like,
sound like an old alarm clock. The Chris Vernon Show, live weekdays at noon on grindcitymedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
In everything we do, defensive activity, offensive execution, play together, have an edge about us. Just play with an edge. Play with an edge and play together.
Morant, for Jaron, blocked by James. Dylan Brooks with authority. Tyus Jones to Brandon Clark. A turn and gun. He got it. Jones for three. Jones blocked by Jaron.
Yeah, stay together, Blue. Stay together. Way to roll me, kid. Let's leave it out there.
John Morant with elevation.
The Grizzlies debuted their City Edition uniforms, and they are the coolest City Edition uniforms.
Look at this beautiful black and gold.
Show me the glasses.
It's all the way like right on the seam.
That's dope. But that's how you know like, the detailing of it. Like, that's pretty dope.
Oh, my nails are so gross.
Rise and Grind with Jessica and Megan. Live daily at 8 a.m. on grindcitymedia.com.
Once a week, get your basketball fix with Talkin' Grizz featuring me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, and media from around the NBA as we discuss draft topics, prospects, and more. Connect with Grind City Media on all their social channels, subscribe to Grind City Media YouTube, and follow Grind City Media on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date with all things Grizzlies.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on grindcitymedia.com. Live from FedEx Forum and the American Home Shield Studio. Here's The Odds Couple, Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Hey, you get your daily sports, pop culture, and Grizz fix with insider news and commentary on all things sports and more with the Chris Vernon Show. Live at noon daily, Monday through Friday. Tune in to grindcitymedia.com, Grind City Media on YouTube, or via the official Grizzlies mobile app to catch Chris live, or download each episode daily and subscribe at iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud today. Welcome back to The Odds Couple, everybody. Memphis Tigers, they're going bowling.
Yeah.
Yep, the Montgomery Bowl. They'll be taking on Florida Atlantic. Ryan Silverfield, and now his team is approaching the Montgomery Bowl.
We talk about it every week, right? It's the emotions, the attitude of the team, and the approach sometimes determines what may occur on a Saturday, or in our case, a Wednesday coming up. I think these guys have the right mindset. They want to play. They're excited about the opportunity. They know, a lot of these guys understand the history of what's occurred to Memphis in bowl games. And I think that's huge for them to understand, a chance for a lot of these guys to go out as bowl winners. We know FAU is a heck of an opponent. It's also, I can't say if we were playing in January 18th in a bowl game, obviously other than a national championship, there our guys would be fired up. I think a lot of us, myself included, are excited to play this game sooner than later and go out there and give everything we have for our last season game.
Memphis Tigers are a big favorite in this game. Start at 10. It's gone down to 8. It's been around 8 to 10.
We definitely trust them to cover, right? Don't we?
No. 3-10 against the spread in their last 13. 1-6 against the spread as a favorite. 1-5 against winning teams. 1-8 following a win. 0-5 against the spread their last 5 bowl games as well. So they haven't done well in bowl games either. Haven't covered their last 4 on a neutral site. They've only covered 1 of their last 10 in the month of December. However, favorite trend of the year applies in this game. Tigers have won 10 of their last 12 against bird mascots. The only two losses coming to Temple. So we got that. Although Temple is an owl.
Yeah, owl is.
So the owl, they've struggled against the owl.
They've struggled against wise birds.
Yes.
Yes.
Florida Atlantic's won 16 of their last 20. They've covered their last 4 bowl games, covered their last 6 on a neutral site, and they're 7-1 against the spread against winning teams. What do you expect to see from the Tigers?
I think they're going to cover this one.
You do?
I've been getting killed by them all year. I'm finally going to What other choice do I have? I'm going with the Tigers.
I'll take Florida Atlantic.
Everyone else is.
Not even.
I understand.
It's a blind bet. It's a blind bet. I can't name you one player that plays for Florida Atlantic. It's a total blind bet.
But I'm with you. And let's go ahead and get to our picks then, because that's our first pick. And we'll look at my 5 to start things off, and I'm going with Florida Atlantic. I mean, it's a blind pick for me, too, because Memphis is favored by double digits. They haven't covered it all this year, even when they've won games. So I am definitely taking the 10 points. Hope the Tigers get the victory, but I'll take 10 against Memphis right now against anybody. I'm going with Coastal against Liberty. A few weeks ago when these two teams were supposed to play, it was like a 14-point line. Now it's only 6.5. I'll take Coastal all day. Florida minus the 3 against Oklahoma. Played really well against Alabama. I think Dan Mullen has their team ready to go against the Sooners in a high-scoring affair. Team with the ball last wins. Iowa minus the 13.5 against Missouri. Missouri's just on a downward spiral, and it feels like they've cashed in their season. I'm with you guys. It's going to be tough for Iowa to beat anybody by 13.5, but I think you can get Mizzou now. And then I'll go the Seahawks, minus the 2 against the Rams. Don't know what Jared Goff you're going to see, and you expect the Rams to be a little bit better this week than they were against the Jets, but I'll go with Seattle. Seattle's just solid.
Yeah.
Lang?
I'm taking Memphis. You guys must not have heard about the law of averages, but as you said,
I've heard about it for the last 8 weeks.
Wait, is this Lane talking live? Or are we running a replay of a video of
the gambler's fallacy?
Yes, with my picture on it. But I would say this. Memphis is, I think, 1-0 in their last one game against the spread.
Hey! That's true.
And we don't know anybody on Florida Atlantic, so I'll go with Memphis. I'm taking Liberty in this game. I think Hugh Freeze is turning down all these jobs. He's upset. He's going to go out there and show what he can do. I think Florida outscores Oklahoma. I just don't think Iowa can score 2 more touchdowns than Missouri. And I'll take the Rams. I think they got to turn it around a little bit. Roser?
Florida Atlantic. Because Memphis doesn't really cover very much. We've been over that. I'll take Liberty. Love Hugh Freeze. I'll stay on it. We'll take Hugh Freeze there. I'm going to go with Oklahoma. I think it's a team that's just gotten better and better and better and better. And I think Florida kind of probably put everything they had into that SEC championship game. So I think Oklahoma's going to continue to try to get better and improve going into next season. I'll take Missouri. The line's 15 now. So I think you're actually getting some value with them there. And then I'm going to take the Rams. Dude, Seattle almost lost to Dwayne Haskins. What are we talking about here? Jared Goff.
Rams lost to the Jets.
They did just lose to the Jets. I would bet anything. I'll take the Rams straight up in that game. I will bet anything.
You hate those Seahawks.
I do hate the Seahawks. Sean McVay will come back with a play-calling clinic on Sunday against Seattle.
CJ.
I'll take them Tigers. I think they'll send Brady White off on a high note, carry him off the field with an 11-point win. Give me Coastal. I like them as a football team, and I think they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They want to show folks that they are for real and are one of the better teams in the nation. I'm going to take Oklahoma, but let me holler at my boy Johnny. Is the play there? Because I'm not sure if anybody can stop anybody from scoring. Like you said, Rob, it's a high-scoring affair. Last person with the ball probably win that one. Give me Oklahoma. There are 4 Big Ten teams with winning records in bowl season. Iowa happens to be one of them, but they're like 14-1. This sets up perfectly for what usually happens during bowl season, where an okay SEC team goes out there, beats a okay Big Ten team, and they get the notoriety and the fame and get the clout that comes with beating an okay Big Ten team. So I'll take Missouri in that one. And Seattle's just solid. I've lost all confidence in the Rams after losing to the Jets. And in my picks, my personal picks, I will take the Bucks minus 7.5. They got to be playing the Lions. They have to be. Are they playing the Lions? Yep. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then the Cardinals minus 3.5. 49ers are dealing with just too much COVID issues, too many injuries. I think Arizona handles that pretty comfortably.
Yeah, the injuries have been a big problem. Nick Mullins, he stinks anyway, but he needs Tommy John surgery. It has been announced that C.J. Beathard will start. They don't have a backup quarterback right now. As the backup behind him, their third string, Josh Johnston, he is in COVID protocol right now, so he will not be able to play. And I don't know, because the game's Saturday, I don't know if they can get somebody signed in time and get them through all the COVID protocols to have a backup quarterback. So if anything happens to Beathard, we could be looking at a situation like the Broncos were in a few weeks ago. Also, it's been announced Raheem Mostert and Dabo Samuel will not play at all the rest of the season. So I think while Arizona has not been a team that you could really trust all season, it does feel like maybe the 49ers are going to scale things back. I also wouldn't be surprised if they announced, if Fred Warner, who's also kind of been dealing with some nagging injuries, if they just said, hey, we'll pull you back too, because they're going to have to re-sign him.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think he's right there with Arizona. I'm going to go the over 71.5 in BYU UCF. Fish, I would be up 1,000 GCUs if you would have let me pick college games last week, because the first half over in Bama, Florida was money, and the game over was absolutely money too. UCF BYU over 71.5, and I'm going to go. I think the broken ATM in the NFL right now is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yep. The Chicago Bears have been a hot team too. I don't see how Jacksonville scores. I'll take the Bears minus 7.5 against the Jaguars.
I'm taking the same one as Rosa there, because we came up with that one together in the other room right before we started here. We were looking at lines, and that one. I've been fading the Bears all year, and then last week I put actual money on it, and they blew out Minnesota.
And then that's 2 covers in a row, because they killed Houston last week. 2 weeks ago.
So I'll take the Bears. Jaguars look like they're in Tank City, so I'll take the Bears in the 7, and then I'll take the under New Orleans, Minnesota. Hey, Drew Brees somehow magically came back from 11 broken ribs in a month. So I don't think either team's going to put up a lot of points in that game. So I'll go under.
And he gets a lot of hate.
It's 51.5.
The Bears actually a winning record this year when Mitchell Trubisky starts.
Yeah.
Better than Nick Foles.
Yes.
Better than Nicholas Foles.
Mm-hmm. I was going to take UAB against South Carolina, but
that game's over.
So I'm going to go ahead
take the Chiefs against the Falcons.
No chance. I don't trust the Chiefs right now to cover.
I trust the Falcons not to cover.
Well, that's true. I'm going to go with Arizona after the big breakdown from Roser and from CJ. I'll go with CJ there and take the Cardinals minus 3.5. Also, I'm going to go with Buffalo, the University of Buffalo. They take on Marshall. They're a 3-point favorite, coming off a tough loss last week, but they'll bounce back in their bowl game, and they will win by at least 3. They're a very good team with a very good running back. So go Buffalo. Bisons, right? Bisons?
Yeah. Bison?
Right?
Bulls.
The baseball team's the Bisons.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Buffalo has a baseball
The NFL team's the Bills. The college team's the Bulls.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for the odds couple. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas, fellas.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Yes,
And all
happy
that good
holidays.
Stuff. And then we're going to be back next week, and we're going to talk about some of the big bowls coming up here in the new year for the New Year's season.
How do you think Jeremy Pruitt's going to celebrate the holidays?
With his
family?
You mean his ma index finger and his dad ring finger?
Yeah.
That's going to do it for the odds couple. Thanks for joining us. For CJ, Roser, Lang, Kimball, I'm Fish. Enjoy all the ball games. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you next week on the odds couple.
You've been listening to The Odds Couple from the American Home Shield Studio on GrindCityMedia.com. Tune in next week for more football handicapping with Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.